'96 really came with an attitude. It became a symbol because of the way he played. '96 was Zach. Well, first time I met him was in first grade, and we both sat next to this kid who was in a wheelchair, and then that's the first time I met him. We kind of like talked just because the guy had on the Harley Davidson jacket, and Zach's dad was real big into Harley Davidson stuff. And then didn't really like hang out that much. And then fourth grade, he sat next to me in my class, and we just cut up all the time in class and kind of got in trouble in class a lot. And I invited him out to play football, to come to football practice, because he had only played basketball. And so that's like when we went to football practice, and we just slowly started hanging out. Like we both had the same interests. Like we both loved like motocross and stuff like that, and extreme sports, I guess. And so we kind of bonded over that, and then slowly like football. And we had like a news class in like 5th grade, and we had a little news. It's called the Zach and Cole Show. So that's pretty much like how it started.
You know, it's a next door neighbor to us. I mean, Cole was, and that was, he always came over to play with Cole, and they'd be in the front yard. And there was a kid named Jake Pickering that played for us at Midwestern, and he was from Zach's family's hometown, and they all had came there to Midwestern, and I met him with Jake, and then he was coming to our football camp at Midwestern ever since he was a little bitty kid, and so I've known him a long time, and he's just a big old lineman, that you knew one day was going to grow into something, something good. And seeing him and Cole, I always tease Cole. I said, heck, y'all were just, two big old linemen next door to me, and I never knew that I was going to have the honor. You get to know kids, 6th, 7th grade. You never think that one day they'll have that you'll be a head coach, number one. Number two, that you'll have the opportunity to be able to coach those kids in college. Very unusual that two kids that grew up best friends next door to a college football coach end up growing up playing for him, and he ends up being their head coach. That's an unusual situation that would do. But I've known him since he was a young kid, next door, down Blazing Star in Wichita Falls, Texas.
What will we ever do? Captain Obvious, hold this. I'm gonna hold this. Human anything, take form of Grippy Glove.
Zach was just a funny guy. Like we would cut loose, cut up that was our group hung out together, and Zach was just the reason we all hung out together is because all of us were funny, and Zach was a funny guy. So junior year, we're about to play a really big game. Like it was ranked as like one of the games to watch, like I think in Texas or in the nation or something. It was on a Saturday, and we're used to playing games on Fridays, so we go and we stay at one of my friend's house, and we're all like sitting back there, and we were really just playing video games and stuff and hanging out. But it's like me, Zach, and one of our other good friends, Michael, Corey, and John, and these are just guys that we hung around with in high school. I think James was there too, which is another friend that y'all don't know. But anyways, we're sitting there in his room, we're playing video games, and just horsing around. And Zach's, the whole day we're laughing because Zach has this pimple on his arm, and he keeps complaining about it hurting, and we're just giving him a hard time about it, like, oh, quit being a baby. And which turned out to be like a really bad staph infection that he had to get like cut out or anything, but that's just part of that night. So we're sitting in his room, and we're at my friend Michael's house, and we're sitting in the room, and all of a sudden, for some reason, we're all linemen, and we all dreamed of being a running back. For some reason, we decide that one of us is gonna run, and the other person and try and jump over the other people, and the other people are gonna try and flip them. And Michael's parents weren't there for a little bit, and luckily, because this would have been real bad. And me and Zach are sitting on the bed, and one of our other friends comes running and tries to jump over us, and we hit him and flipped him, and he went and put a hole in my friend's wall. And so like we're like freaking out, like what are we gonna do? Like we don't know what to do. And and my friend Michael has always had like the dirtiest room. Like sorry Michael, but his parents came back, and his room was spit shine clean, and his entertainment center that had been on the opposite side of the room was moved in front of this hole in the wall that we had created. And they never found out about it until freshman year, when he told us, or he told me and Zach about it, because his parents called him or wrote him a letter during his basic. He's in the Navy, and it was like, hey, they found the hole in the wall.
He was doing well. You know, here was the thing. In 2009, Zach actually had a chance to play for us, and we had to make a decision. We had 2 freshmen at defensive tackles, and we had to make a decision on who to play. And I made the decision not to play Zach as a true freshman at defensive tackle, because I knew how good he would probably be in the long run. And Zach was a tremendous leader, unbelievable. And talking with Cole, you'll know he had this unbelievable sense of humor that, you know, imitating people. So that spring when we redshirted him was really good, because he was this leader that led this entire freshman class. And but he had a chance to play, and we didn't play him. Come into spring, here he is lifting, and then he completely changed his body. You know, you see in the picture, Zach was Zach did not look like a big old chubby defensive tackle. I mean, this kid was huge, and he was coming along, and he got mono. Right in the middle of the spring, we're working out, and at this time I'm the interim head coach, and he got mono. And he actually was, about a week and a half, 2 weeks, that he was very, very sick that spring. Then came back and got back healthy and started lifting and running and getting himself, in shape. We hit spring break. I did an article on all those freshmen, because I knew that freshman class was going to be special. And Zach had the last quotes about going home and to be home for spring break, that all he'll think about over spring break will be, and Brad Keith did that article, that all he'll think about will be, spring football practice and an opportunity to come in and play. And it was really a neat deal. And he did think that way. And we were 2 or 3 days into practice, and we had several transfer defensive tackles. Zach wasn't fighting; he was a starter. And at that time, in the first couple of practice, he was head and shoulders better than any player that was playing defensive tackle for us. He was head and shoulders above the kids that had played. I'll never forget us watching the tape from the Friday practice, and he was getting the down block and working back over. We hadn't got kids that had Division I talent that had transferred that was doing the things that kid was doing. And me and Coach Kofer and Coach Minio and Coach Turner were like, this kid is unbelievable. He's going to be the best defensive tackle that's ever played here. And there was not a battle. He was the best defensive lineman we had at that time, and probably one of the best leaders. Of all the great leaders that we've had here that I've been around, Zach Shaver had the ability to make people follow. But just a normal Saturday morning practice, first day of full pads, and we weren't scrimmaging. We only were going to play. We went through individual, and we was going to play at the end of the scrimmage. We were going to, at the end of practice, we were going to play a couple plays, and had a great practice. I cut it back. It was a hot Saturday morning there in April. It actually was in March. The end of March there it was warmer than normal. Zach played a lot of plays that day, and then dominated the entire practice. From the individual down, he dominated, and I was chasing him down, high fiving in the way he was playing, and then let's come up on a play that he just got hit. I didn't see it, and I'm sure Cole didn't either. I mean, it's a bang bang, and you see those things, and we don't have the tape anymore. You know, those things are gone now. But just looked down, and Zach was on both knees, and was trying to fight to get to his feet.
He just like was on the ground, and you know, I was kind of just like, come on, get back up, I'm just tired. And then they told everybody to leave, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, and I started freaking out.
You know, he was there, and we finally got him over, and then just grabbing and holding his hand, and you knew something was bad wrong. I mean, that was, you know, I'll never. I mean, that's a vision that's an everyday thing, and I look at those pictures I keep right here of him, and remember that situation. It was a situation I never ever want anybody to ever have to go through or be in, and that's a vision that stays with me for a long time. And you know, I don't know. He just held my hand, and then as I got ready to go away, he let go, and at that time there's really no strength left, and that's when we life flight and got the helicopter in here. But it was just the strongest thing, and I see those big old blue eyes looking at me, and I was the most helpless feeling because I couldn't help him, and he was squeezing me and just let go of my hand.
I mean, like, he's fine, he's just got a concussion, and then the ambulance pulled up, and I started freaking out, you know, I was like, whoa, what's happening, like, what the heck is happening, what's going on?
You know, and I've talked to a lot of people, and they'll try to tell you, you know, things happen, but you know, when you see kids go through that, and I see friends and family and having to make that phone call to Jennifer, and what a sweet lady, and Robbie, you know, his father is just great people, and then his little sister Emily, and knowing that those things happen forever, I'll always feel responsible for that, and I know that there's a plan that God has, but well, that's a tough, and you try to get over it, and you can't, and you just have to learn and teach kids to fight, you know, every day of their life, because you never know, you never know when your last day or your last play is going to happen. And
we get to the hospital, and we're all just sitting there, and we're sitting there for a long time, and finally they told us we can go back, and we had gone back the day before to see him too, and it was rough to see your brother like that, but we go back there, and they're like, hey, you guys, this is going to be your final goodbye to Zach, you know, and we're, you know, I don't really like to say this, but we're bawling, and, you know, seeing other people, you know, just crying, because it's an 18-year-old kid, you know, I mean, and so then we come out, and it's weird. I don't understand it. I don't know why, but I think, like, when Zach, they said that in the morning it was like fine, and it kept dropping and dropping, and then all of a sudden his pressure rose. But like, after everybody had gone, we're all just sitting there, and we have I guess a love for 80s rock. And our little group is just sitting there, laying there, you know, crying and singing that song, Josie's on Vacation, Far Away, you know.
Tough day, and you know, and then to see Jennifer and Robbie, and I can't say, and Emily and Doug Harmon, his family friend, and his aunts, and his grandmother, who is just an unbelievable lady that I've known for a long time. You know, it's not like that you recruited a kid and you got a kid in that you wouldn't want it to happen to anyone. Don't get me wrong on that. But you know the guys that took care of him. You know, his mom's best friend. You know that his mother's teaching with Doug Harmon's wife, who was the president of the M Club, that was very, very, very close, and still is a close friend of mine. And you're there in those situations, and you're in the hospital, and you're like, dang, you know, that was a tough deal, and those people in Wichita Falls are wonderful people, and I still hope that I can call them friends, and I love them dearly, and it's tough. Sometimes I feel like that if I'm around them, that I'm a reminding factor of the tragedy that happened, and that makes it tough. But you know, if they ever get to see this, Jennifer, Robbie, Emily, Doug, and grandmas and aunts, I love y'all to death, and Zach has changed my life and this program's life forever.
That's probably the most important game I've ever played in. I stress a lot about a lot of stuff anyways, and just felt, I mean, you know, in my head before the game, I'm like, I can't, you know, I don't know, it was real nerve-wracking for me just because my first year playing D-line, and I've never thought I've been very good at D-line, and I'm just like, I can't lose today, like we cannot lose today. And that was mainly, like, for Zach's parents to be there, I was like, we cannot lose in front of this family, like we cannot lose in front of them.
We were going to honor Zach's family. Actually, we were going to try to do it the first game, and his father had surgery on his foot and couldn't be here, so we backed it up to the you know, the game for the next home game.
It was important to everybody, but it was a different air in the room that day, and to be honest, it's really a blur kind of. I just all I can just remember is sitting in my locker listening to music that I always listen to, and just staring into my locker before practice, just going through everything, pregame meal, and just I know I reminded some people about how big of a game this was, and how it was really bigger than the Tarleton Texans. And that was one thing that we were, as a team, we were just like, this game is bigger than us, like, tonight. Like, there are people here that need to see this, like, that need this.
Coach every game with this 96, this gold 96 that I keep in my pocket, in every game. And that was the first time I had it, and I think I about rubbed everything. I may have rubbed through it that night, and we were down, I think 14 points there in the fourth quarter, late. And it was that. I mean, it was just like he took over the game. I mean, we backed them up. They fumbled to get this. I mean, it was events happening. You're like, wow. Call timeout, or they call timeout to stop the clock to try to get the ball back. Nick Stevens, and Nick had missed 3 games in a row now. Nick comes to the sideline, and I said, man, we got to do something. We got about 5 seconds, 6 seconds here in the game, and it was 4th down. I didn't want to kick it. He said, oh, Coach, we got this. I said, all right. I said, you gonna throw it deep? All right, kill time on the clock, throw it deep. He says, no, Coach, I got one for you. And you know, Nick can throw the ball a country mile now. He said, I'm gonna throw it to the heavens. And he backed up to end the clock. I just got chills on that. And Nick threw it, the ball straight up in the air, and as high as he could. And when the ball landed, the game was over. We talk about Zach. That's his best friend. You know, it can't happen to a better kid, a more committed kid at Tarleton State University. So a lot of people would be glad to have Vitolo, and he's not going to break any records. but his leadership and what he's able to bring to this football team is unbelievable. Seeing that little kid playing baseball with him in the front yard, talking with his dad, and knowing the pain that this kid is going through, and to see him run, it'll be a very moving moment for me. It'll be a very moving moment for him, his mom and dad, you know, for Robbie and Jennifer and Emily. It's going to be a very moving moment. And he's going to wear that 96 the first time we're going to play Midwestern from his hometown college there, you know, Wichita Falls, and he gets to wear it for the first time against Midwestern. So it'll be, that really will make it even, you know, even more special that he's, you know, playing, you know, the team that he grew up watching all the time, and mom and dad living there, and it'll be a moving moment for me.
Freshman year in high school, he played offensive line, and then sophomore year he got moved to D-line, and he wore the number 96, and he wore it like it became. Junior year, really, it became a symbol, really, of him, because everybody knew Zach, everybody, you know, loved Zach, and it became a symbol because of the way he played, always in the backfield, always excited on the field. You know, he brought a different excitement, he brought a different atmosphere to the field, and 96 really just became a symbol. Just because if 96 made a play, you know, he was getting up, he was shaking his hands, or he was wobbling around doing something to let him know he was there. And that's 96 really came with an attitude, and it was an attitude and a symbol in high school. And then it came here, and then that was going to be the number that he wore. And so that's what it meant to Zach. I mean, it was his symbol. Like it's like the Batman's bat symbol. It was 96 was Zach.
You gotta step back, and what can you do that's forever? And, you know, you can retire a number, and people forget what the number meant. You know, there's a retired number on the wall, you know. I wanted to do something because this kid was wearing a Tarleton uniform when he passed away, or when he got injured. I wanted this kid's history and how things happen. That's why I put that memorial out there that we touch his helmet when we take the field. That's why his locker is in our locker room that's still untouched from the exact day that he died. It's still hanging. His clothes, his shoes, his clothes, and everything he had, it's still in that locker. You know, we put his game plan in there every week. You know, I had somebody tell me, "Hey, coach, you need to." No. As long as I'm here, that locker's there. You know, when we put his game plan, his playbook's in there. He'll get his new shorts every year. We put it all in his locker, and that's a. But I wanted, if I'm here, or if nobody ever, or whoever comes in here, that you start this tradition, that no matter what happens, that they will honor Zach Shaver way beyond our time at Tarleton State. You know, way beyond, you know, I'm talking about years down the line, that they will always honor Zach Shaver, and hopefully that somebody will always remember the legacy that kid left. That even when he couldn't, for this university, he was fighting to get to his feet.
I can't even say what it means. You know, it's the greatest honor I've ever earned to say that I could wear a number that, you know, honestly, I don't feel like I could ever come close to representing. And just that's the greatest honor I'll ever do, is to put on the number 96.